The third installment of Sontarans versus Rutans is out. Born to Die, seeing the return of the Blue Sixth Doctor and Charlie Pollard.
Hmm. It's not been too long since we last, well, heard Charlie, isn't it?
No,
Because
no.
she was right at the very, I say right at the very start, as if it was a long while ago. Just 2 months ago, we were hearing her along with the Eighth Doctor and Cariz in the first part of Sontarans versus Rutans, the Battle of Giant's Causeway.
You can
So
check out
this
our
is
review for it as well, so you know where
indeed.
we're at.
So it's nice that despite this series being out of order for the Doctor, we started with 8, then we went 3, now we've gone 6th. Next month we're getting War Doctor. It's ended up being somewhat in order for Charlie here because she already knows about the Sontarans and the Rutans. And so here she is with a Doctor who doesn't know that she knows this and can't know that she knows this because of the web of time. And so, that provides a nice bit of a different dynamic, really, to what you usually get in a Doctor Who story.
And it's quite refreshing having that. I think it's such a clever thing involving Charlie in this because there's little references, much like to her main range stories, where she's ahead of the Doctor within it. Like, how do you know the Rutans are green? Oh, I just assume most monsters are green.
Green, the colour for monsters is green.
Yeah, literally, Terran Sticks.
Little reference.
So it's great little nods like that where Charlie knows more than what she's letting on.
Yeah, and I think also it just provides a nice through line for this series as it goes on. But what did you make of the story overall? Did you have a fun time listening to it?
Well, over recent years, Colin's sort of been sort of a Doctor of diminishing returns. For me, he's sort of been the Doctor I've been, least excited to hear. But I'll speak as I find. After 4 years of a rough ride with Colin, he's back. He's back in this one. I had a really good time with this.
Same here. Sultanas versus Rutans has been very strong for me
Yes,
throughout. And this is no exception. This keeps up that momentum. It's almost new series style pacing, isn't it, with these 1 hour stories? But they do have a chance to develop and go into things as well. It's a nice world that's built up here with Taxodon. And you've got, quite a few different Sontaran characters. Like you've got 3 actors here playing them. You've got Dan Starkey, of course, who plays so many Sontarans. I think he's well into the hundreds at this point. He's got to be.
Well, yeah,
add up across TV and Big Finish, all those individual characters. Yeah, there's loads of them. And then you've also got Christopher Ryan, who, very much a well-known voice and face of the Sontarans.
Yeah,
but one who's
style.
used a bit more. Yeah, he's used a bit more sparingly, though, isn't he? So there's something a bit more special about hearing him.
Yeah, I've got a lot of nostalgia for General Stahl, so having Christopher Ryan in it sort of transports me back to, April, May of 2008, really. And I will say he's not in it a great deal within this story. It's very much John Culshaw's Sontaran, who is very sort of styer, I would say.
Yeah,
in this,
stealing the show, I would say.
Yeah,
this is his Sontaran debut, and I think it very much needed 3 distinct but nevertheless Sontaran voices in this story because there's a lot of Sontaran stuff going on within this one. You look at Battle of Giants Causeway, that's fairly evenly split between Sontarans and Rutans. The Children of the Future is very much a Rutan story. Yeah. This is very much a Sontaran story. And yeah, I think it did need those 3 actors across it, each doing wonderful jobs. But like we said, John Culshaw steals the show. He has this very classic feeling vibe. Like you say, very much Steyr and Lynx, isn't he?
You can imagine sort of the Lynx sort of mask on a new series costume.
That's you how can I imagine the eyes doing a lot of the work for this one.
Yeah.
even though it's audio, it's just the voice you're getting. But for some reason, I was very much imagining the eyes in this one doing a lot of great, stuff, really.
Yeah, because he definitely has the most. I think he's the most interesting Sontaran in the story.
Yeah. And he's got he captures that very raspy quality that Kevin Lindsay had.
Yeah, he definitely does. And I almost feel like Colin might be voicing a Sontar in it, in sort of the background sound effects
there's
of
a
the
lot
fighting.
of stuff going on in the background.
I feel like I could hear Colin in that.
Yeah, it does get a bit confusing at times.
That's one of my criticisms for it. It's sort of the early Rob Valentine stories where there's action, but I don't know exactly what's going on with it.
But I'm less fussed in this story because it's not an action scene relevant to the plot. It's more just the backgrounds. It's almost like a B-roll that's going on. You've got a battle happening, and you've got those noises of the battle. And sometimes, when these things are breaking out, it's maybe putting you in the shoes of the foot soldier on the ground, being completely lost as to what's going on as chaos erupts around them. So I'm not as bothered by that. I think you sometimes get stories where the action on audio, because it's very much part of the plot, it's important to it. Not that this isn't plot related as such, but it's not the A plot. You don't need to know exactly what the action is to understand what the Sixth Doctor and Charlie are up to. Is what I'm getting at there. So I felt confused in some sense, but at the same time I was still following the story perfectly fine. I didn't need to know exactly what all these sounds were portraying in those moments.
I think it was used so much, it kind of got a bit annoying, and I think same with the music as well. I felt like the music got a little bit overplayed a little bit, and I think there's one bit of music where it feels almost comical, which I don't think that's the scene's intention. It's when Charlie's trying to escape with the Vlinks. Is it Vlinks? No, I'm thinking of the thing from the 60th.
Yeah,
the alien species.
The Nox,
that's it. When they're trying to escape their little prison cellars, the music, it almost feels very sort of sketch, so more comedy, but
I thought that bit was quite heartfelt music. It's another thing. It was similar with Children of the Future, actually. You weren't as keen on the music, whereas I'm really vibing with it. And it's more earlier Big Finish feel, or mid-history of Big Finish feel.
Yeah. I just think tonally the music didn't seem to fit the scene, but that's just my humble opinion.
But what the whole... Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, one thing what I was surprised, reading the synopsis, you think, it's going to be another Sixth Doctor put on trial story, like, Judgment for the Judoon, Trial of a Time Lord, all that kind of stuff, what we've had the Sixth Doctor, that's sort of the go-to story for the Sixth Doctor, but I was pleasantly surprised that he's actively engaged in his own investigation, that it sort of spirals from the sort of sunset lore into...
I'll tell you what it's like. It's a bit like the Robots of Death, but with a load of Sontarans instead of humans and robots.
Yeah,
in the way that the Sixth Doctor's investigation works.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
And I mean, it's nice with his little Sontaran sidekick, played by Dan Starkey as well.
Skull, isn't it?
Yeah. How they work together. And there's some rather heartfelt moments as well, particularly towards the end involving Skull. I like where they're... I hesitate to say friendship, but that mutual respect that builds as the story goes on is very well done, and I appreciated where they left those characters off. So overall, Born to Die, strong stuff again.
Yeah, very good.
I'm probably going to go an 8 or 9 out of 10 for this one.
I'm going to rest on an 8 out of 10.
I'll go an 8.5. Split it down the middle for this one. But yeah, we're almost at the end now.
Yeah. it's been a great little mini series, and I think it was a great choice to move it out of the box set, because I think that they are, pretty standalone stories, but there isn't there is a little narrative through line. If you want to pick up any of these releases, you can enjoy it on its own.
Yeah, as its own thing. I mean, this one probably more than any other. I wonder how it will come into play when we listen to the final story in name only. Because as it stands, I can't really pick out what exactly is relevant to the overarching Sontarans versus Rutans plot. In this, like, when I look back at Children of the Future and Battle of Giants Causeway, it's fairly obvious what bits are coming into play, what mysteries are still left behind to be wrapped up in those stories. But at the same time, without it feeling like it drags down the rest of it.
Yeah.
Whereas in this story, I honestly couldn't tell you, but that's not bothering me. That's not a criticism of this. And, if that comes into play in the next story in name only, if there is an explanation as to how this ties in, then great. But if not, I'm still not that fussed, because it's a story which does what it says on the tin. There's Sontarans versus Rutans within it. And I had a good time listening to it. So
if you got burnt out by Once and Future and you're a bit hesitant, definitely pick up, these releases.
Yeah, if just one of them interests you, then it's fine to pick that one up on its own.
Yeah.
Or at least of the first three. In name only may be different. We haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah. We'll get back to you on that one, though, because I'm sure we'll be reviewing that around this time next month.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that, along with many, many more reviews. Let us know your thoughts on Sontarans versus Rutans, Haunted Eye in particular, down below. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.